Hey Capricorn, welcome to your reading. It's Empress Rose here. These are general readings. So we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength on this reading, go check your other major placements. I will be leaving pictures of the whole spread at the end. And we're starting off with botanical inspirations, Victorian pictures of flowers with the Victorian meanings of those flowers attached. This will give us an idea of the energies we might be dealing with or some of the themes. A whole chunk came out at the beginning and I was like, oh, I'm not ready for that. So I put it back and now nothing is coming out. So strike while the iron is hot. Here we go. And then we're going to move into a tarot reading with an actual tarot spread. And these flowers just kind of give me an idea. It's kind of fun to connect something into the reading if possible. Sometimes it's not possible. And sometimes you know what this is and I don't. I've had that recently where the readings to me aren't making sense, but the people receiving them, especially on the personals, are like, oh yeah, that made a lot of sense to me. So I'm just in the dark half the time, just telling you what I see here. Holy moly, talk about being in the dark. Tuberose. Whew, this is a hot card, baby. This is about sexuality and there's no getting around it. Dangerous pleasure. I think of it more as like secret pleasure, or in the book they talk about more like night pleasures. Secret of reaping the greatest fruitfulness and the greatest enjoyment from life is to live dangerously. Nietzsche. I love me some Nietzsche. All right. So tuberose, this is a really fascinating flower. It's in Victorian times. It was, let's see, it's connected to Marie Antoinette. It was a forbidden flower because what they found was in the day, they thought the fragrance was very sexual, right? And then just a few decades ago, they found that the fragrance of the tuberose, well, a long time ago, they knew that the fragrance of the tuberose during the day is very different than the fragrance of the tuberose at night. At night, it has a totally different fragrance, and it's used for very expensive perfumes that I cannot afford, and I don't know if you can either. But so we probably have never smelled it. But the thing that they discovered a couple decades ago is that the night fragrance of the tuberose, the fragrance that it is the same chemical that our skin exudes when we orgasm. So this is a very sexual card, this tuberose here. And then we have asters here. Elegance and patience. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Lao Tzu. Oh, mixed with this tuberose. That could be really... Elegance and patience. So that tuberose is going to make you want to rush forward, but this elegance and patience, it's almost like a tease here. It's going to make you pull back a little. White rose, new start in wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. White rose. Wow, this is quite a potent little mix here. Taken all together, patience, elegance and patience. Oh. New start in wisdom, and then this dangerous pleasure tuberose. Yeah. Knowing yourself. Is this some sort of understanding your own sexuality in a way that you maybe haven't before? Going slow sexually, even though you'd like to go faster, or maybe even just like a dangerous endeavor and it's saying go slow here. You're just starting out something, you may be feeling a little eager about it, whether it's sexual or not. I mean, it could just be something else, but, you know, you might be really eager with this new start, but you've got to, you know, get to know who you are in this new situation and be patient, even though you might not want to be. All right, Capricorn, here's your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Fascinating. Yeah, I think we're, Looks very relationship-y from my end, so I'm just going to go with that reading. Sometimes we get, and of course relationships are all about our personal growth. They call us into greater personal growth, especially the closer we want to be with people, the more we have to deal with our inner demons and our inner issues in order to have those relationships work and be functional. So this could be this has a strong relationship reading vibes right off. We've got... Yeah, we've got 4 cups in a 7-card spread. So I'm going to say emotions, relationships, plus this tuber rose here. We're talking about a romantic relationship here. If that's not you, maybe you can get something out of it. Typically, I don't do just strict romantic because it can be, passionate job, passionate creative work, which it could be still for many of you, but we're going to just read it like a relationship reading. So 6 of Cups, in your recent past, someone from your past has come back. This was like a really nice creative, someone that was really easy to engage with creatively. A lot of sharing, a lot of imagining, a lot of planning for the future. This one's reading the book out loud. This is one of my favorite things to do with people. Reading a book out loud. This one's, playing with the flowers. So we have this, could be this new start in wisdom here. Early, someone you remember, someone from your past, someone from a past life, someone from a past life within this life, coming back into your life here. Very beautiful sharing, emotional sharing that is just, there's so much flow here and so much, so many good memories. There's a lot of good memories here. You could just be remembering somebody. You found something, it reminded you of somebody, and you're back in your feels here about how wonderful it was to understand and be understood and have that good relationship. So, but in your current situation though, so that happened, but now we're by ourselves and we're really trying to figure out what we want. Because you really have to be really strong. You have to know who you are in order to be able to bring that into healthy relationships. So this is the Hermit. This is following your own North Star. This is going slow, elegance, and patience. Nature does not hurry. Everything is accomplished. That's a Lao Tzu. The Hermit mode here is about following your own North Star, getting in touch with what you want, going slow bit by bit. There's my fog analogy. When it's foggy or when it's dark, you don't ride your bike at top speed. You will run into a very thorny bush if you do. So you just go slow. When things are ahead or unclear, you go slow. And here we have St. Francis of Assisi. This is the Golden Tarot. These are going to be religious, a lot of religious. This is Renaissance and medieval art collages, so there's a lot of religious imagery. But we have St. Francis of Assisi, who is just kind of a wild little saint here. I'm really impressed that he got sainthood because he didn't follow the rules. He talked to animals, and how you get to be a saint for talking to animals is you follow your own inner guidance system exclusively. So, and don't give a shit what other people say. So that's a little bit of where you're at right here. You're making sort of decisions on your own. You've got to figure out what you want. A relationship may have been offered or may have come back, and you're figuring out what you want, what you think is best. You got to just kind of this radical inner looking inside for your own path and for your own guidance system, and making sure that you're not following somebody else. So this is very healthy. This is very good, especially if you're contemplating reconnecting with somebody. You really need to go in and figure out what your motivations are, who you are. Go very slowly. We don't want to be jumping into things. However fun and whatever, dangerous pleasure that rush is of jumping into things, we've got to go slow. And we've got 2 cards about patience here and the beauty of patience and going slow and following. And then we have this new start in wisdom. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. This is absolutely the Hermit card, knowing himself and going slow. So here we have, you're going for a very slow walk through your Victorian garden here. But this is about going slow and knowing who you are. That's those 2 cards combined perfectly into the Hermit card. That is exactly what the Hermit card is all about. In your inner landscape, you have this Queen of Cups. Queens are about looking internally. So I like that she's showed up in your inner landscape. That makes my reading a lot easier. because sometimes like very non-internal things show up here. So this is hopes, dreams, internal landscape. I'm reading this as what's going on inside of you. The Queen of Cups is about internal. She's got her journal here. She's figuring out what she feels, what she thinks, how she feels about things. You're very much, and this is very much, I love this coming in with the Hermit card, because that's a lot of what both of these people are doing, is figuring out what they want, how they truly feel. This may have confused you, surprised you, startled you, and now you're off kind of on your own trying to figure out what you want, how you feel. She may be thinking about bringing a cup of offering. We've got 2 lovebirds in this basket here. So she may be thinking about, what she wants out of this relationship, what she thinks about it, and thinking about bringing an offering forward. But first, she's got to get straight with herself and what she wants and what she thinks, because we all have to do that when coming into union with other people. It does not work to just... whatever they want, or to not know yourself and to not know who you are. It creates a weak combination if you both need to be very clear on what you want and what your hearts are telling you in order for that to be a strong union and a strong connection. So you're figuring out what you want. You might be hoping for an offering from somebody to come in. But mostly, I think you're really sitting next to this Queen of Cups right next to the Hermit card is talking a lot about getting to know yourself, getting to know your own heart, and with these other cards, what you're passionate about, what you love, what you want, what kind of relationship you want, and getting really clear on that. Then what's at issue here is this Wheel of Fortune. It's in reverse. So there might have been some bad luck happening, some issues happening that just keep interfering with this connection, keep creating problems and issues. This is making it go slow. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So there's just been some interruptions that you might feel prepared, you might feel ready, you might feel like you've journaled this out, you figured out what you want, and then life's like, okay, but not quite. Oh, no, there's this other obstacle. Oh, no, now there's this other obstacle. It's reminding me of knowing what you want. Like, these obstacles come in to sort of test our devotion and test our desires. Are we going to quit with the first obstacle, with the first turn of events that doesn't go our way, with the first bad luck situation that came in and interfered with what we wanted? Are we gonna, because we can do that. I think that's perfectly fine too. Like, otherwise I'd still be sucking at gymnastics if I didn't quit things and move on. But there are, because I did gymnastics when I was 8, and I hated just about everything there. But some people feel like you can't quit things, so I'd still be hating every minute of my life if I was still in gymnastics all these 30-some plus years later. So this is about, so you might want to be quitting. Like, I'm not saying you don't have to quit, but there's some challenging things, and you're going to need some patience, because there are some challenges coming your way or interfering already. It's just kind of bad luck. Like, especially if this thing just got going right before the coronavirus hit. It's just like, there's just some bad luck stuff happening. Somebody's, job has transferred them out of the area, or, the connection just wasn't the timing was wrong. But so your patience here is really, I think, being tested, as far as like, just things are coming in that are really like kind of confusing things and not showing up, the way you wanted them to show up. The world's just doing the thing that the world does. And this is Wheel of Fortune. So this has to do with luck, and this has to do with, not just things outside of our control, but things outside of our control that are directly affecting our lives. So luck is such a mysterious thing, and there's just some bad luck going on right here. And that's what's creating the issue. It's not that anybody's awful, evil, horrible. It's just bad luck. And then in your environment, 7 of Cups here, there's a lot of options. Some of them are a little bit dangerous. Some of them are a little bit magical. Things need to be revealed here in order for you to make a better choice. But there's just a lot of options. This is like taking, a bubble test, and instead of 4 options, you have 7. And there's, a bunch of different ways something can go. So there could just be an overwhelming amount of stuff happening right now, especially with this Wheel of Fortune. People could just be really overwhelmed with everything they have on their plate, with all of the options. Here's the Seven of Cups. I don't know if I showed it to you, but there's all sorts of options. One of these cups one option has a snake. One option has this magic dragon. One option has these laurels, riches, home. I think this is a little bit about needing to prioritize what it is you want. And there's a lot of possible things to want. Do you want someone? Do you want a baby? Do you want do you want a home? Do you want riches? Do you want fame and fortune? Do you want a snake? Do you want a dragon? Do you want some sort of magical, mythical thing that doesn't even exist, and you're going to pick it and it's going to disappear as soon as you pick it? Do you want a relationship? Like, there's all sorts of, life is always offering us all sorts of paths, and this is about prioritizing and picking what you want. And this is also about someone here feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the options that there are and not being able to pick, because there are times where we want relationships, and then there's times when we're tired of relationships and we want to work on our home and that kind of thing. So there could be just some options about what are you going to prioritize? What's your top priority here? And this is something going on in your environment that's really asking you to figure out what your top priority is. If it's not going to be the relationship, are you willing to allow the other person to feel that they're not your top priority, that they're always going to be second to this other option? It's more important, what's more important to you. And so there could be something in your environment, and it could be something that's pulling you away, because each of these things kind of has to pop up in turn in our lives as a priority, sort of like juggling 7 different priorities in our lives. I mean, because we have to have a home, we do have to have money to survive. So we're always juggling these things. So someone could be just a little bit overwhelmed by having to juggle a lot of different priorities. But it is about, picking and choosing priorities. What do you want? What do you want out of this situation? What do you want? I mean, here you are in the Queen of Cups trying to figure out what you want. And I think this is also trying to figure out, what are you going to prioritize? I think it's kind of rude personally to invite someone into your life and prioritize until they get into your life, and then to deprioritize them. So, maybe you need to be asking yourself, like, what can you prioritize long term? And there's something going on in your environment that's asking you to do that. To prioritize a person or a job or work situation, or what is your priority, and it could be really overwhelming and confusing and difficult to kind of figure out. This is really fascinating to-do list. We have 5 of Wands. We have an open argument. I like this better than like this 7 of Swords, where we're sneaking away with our truth, and we're not talking about things, and we're shutting people out. This is the argument that was supposed to happen, and being very open and being very clear. I think this is a test of wills. This is a wake-up call. This is it looks like it's happening at night, but it's really not. It's happening right before the dawn comes. And so right before, there's a lot of clarity, there's a lot of conflict, a lot of some arguing, some discussing, some fighting. No one's really getting hurt here. This is almost like just a contest of wills. So these are a bunch of men, of course, fighting and fighting with each other. So there may be something you need to talk about, and it's going to create a lot of conflict. You're feeling conflict. There's somebody in there is something conflicting here, right? And you may just need to there are a lot of priorities, and you may need to engage in conflict in order to prioritize what you want to prioritize. This is a little cockfight here, I feel like that came out really funny, especially since we've got this tuberose card here. But this is about, the wands are about what you're passionate about, what you're intuitive about, what you, your own personal growth. And then the 5 is going to be this conflict, this, your to-do list is to have some sort of conflict, which I don't really see supported, but maybe it's just like having a debating about what you want, seeing things from other sides, actually confronting some sort of other perspective on what, and figuring it out, bringing in, like, there's this overwhelming thing that, you know, this, a lot of options, a lot of things, something needs to be decided, something needs to be picked, and maybe you need to, like, sort of journal it out here, but in sort of debate format. Debate yourself, debate what you think, or bringing this debate out into this relationship, talking about, like, what the priorities are and what you believe in and what you want, talking about it. And that may be some conflict, but you're being encouraged here to engage in some sort of open exchange of ideas that might have a little bit of conflict, have an argument, I mean, not just for fun, but to figure out something. Because once you know what you think, once you know what you believe, it's time for you to talk about that and to share that, and maybe even stand up for that, and maybe even push a little bit for what you believe, but also engaging with somebody else and with what somebody else believes, with what someone else wants to prioritize, that kind of thing. So this is an open engagement. I think of words. I would, obviously, I don't think you need to be nasty, but this is sort of, you know, having a debate, having a debate about what's important to you, what's meaningful, and what's going to happen. And you've done all this work to figure out what you believe and what you think. Don't keep it to yourself, is basically what this Five of Wands is telling me. Even if it creates conflict, you need to share what you think and what you prioritize and what you want. And where you're going here is Page of Cups. So this is exploring emotions, exploring surprising emotions, surprising new things. There's this sort of environment, unstable environment, but you're figuring out some sort of emotional stability. But I love how she's looking at this fish here. This page is looking at this fish here. So the pages are about learning, and this is about learning about something surprising. So maybe in this conflict, something surprising comes out, and you need to stop and learn about it, figure it out, pay attention to it, journal it back out here. But this is a lot about, you know, how you feel about a situation and what you think. And so this Page of Cups is about learning about feelings you have that might be very surprising, especially with this dangerous pleasure. You might be discovering something very surprising about yourself or about somebody you know, and exploring it openly with an open mind. We're not shutting it down. We're not throwing it out. We're just looking with a lot of curiosity into some sort of emotional connection, into some sort of emotional life. So we start off with something from your past coming up and putting you really in your feels and really trying to figure out what you think and what you feel. There's been some bad luck, maybe some overwhelming options. You've got to stand up for what you think, and then it's going to reveal something to you that is going to be very surprising to you, and then you're going to go on a little exploratory journey. You're going to come at your emotions and your feelings with beginner's mind here, restarting, re-exploring, re-examining something that you thought you knew and that you thought you were pretty sure of earlier on in this spread and in this process. So, all right, Capricorn, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, comments, and subscribes, and I hope you have a wonderful week.